Remember being in church as a kid? Did you ever feel like doing this? Or maybe even this? Well, at a program called City Kids in Oshawa, Ontario, a lucky group of children are doing things most of us were never allowed to do in church. Frank Satius is lead pastor of the Oshawa Community Church.
Well, City Kids is a weekly program that we have for the children. And as you can see, we try to make as fun and as appealing as possible. We want to make very impossible for the children to come here for the first time, for their parents not to bring them back.
When it comes to church and children, Satius doesn't beat around the bush. He says for many kids, church is just plain boring.
So we just believe that we need to do something special for them to come and to enjoy, as well as receive the message of salvation and taking care of their spiritual needs as well. But it's just a fun place for the kids to come every Sunday.
And creating a space where faith and fun mix is something the church has wanted to do for a long time, he says.
A couple years ago, we sat and we said we needed to do something for the kids. We found this amazing place in Florida called Wacky World Studios, and they have designed some other children's facilities like this in some churches in the States. We want something special. We didn't want it to do the normal painting on a wall deal. We wanted to do something, go a little bit beyond that.
According to Satius, City Kids is the first of its kind in Canada. Every Sunday, while parents enjoy the sermon downstairs, upstairs, their kids hear a sermon with a twist.
There's something else that God did for us.
They come for about half an hour and they play Wii's and video games and climbing wall and whatever else that they do. We have worship time for them and a lesson, and we have small groups for children. And while the parents are downstairs receiving the word and enjoying themselves. So then in the end of that, they come back up here and pick their children up with a little card. They have to have a little card for security reasons to come, and they pick their kids up.
The Bible isn't an easy book for kids to understand, but that's something the church is facing head on, creating lessons kids can relate to.
But the Bible is a very relevant book, and we wanted to make the message of Jesus Christ very relevant for children. So for us here at City Kids, we want to make the message in such a way so relevant they can apply right on the next day. So things that are relevant for children, the Bible instructs us, such as topics such as obedience, or such as faithfulness, relationship between friends.
The children are also encouraged to get involved in the church through a point system called City Bucks.
When they bring friends, they gain some points as a point system. So they accumulate points for a period of time, and then they can choose from a variety of toys and a variety of things. So it's just motivating them to memorize scripture, bringing friends, what else? Be involved in some capacity here. And so it's a fun way to motivate them to do something.
And while fun is a big part of the program, Satius believes teaching kids about the Bible is serious business and should start when they're young.
Okay, why do you think it's important to teach kids the gospel message at such a young age?
Jesus did. Jesus brought the message right from they were young. As a matter of fact, they told us to be like children. And so I think society is going such a way that is so need for the gospel being presented to such a early age, and we believe that here. We make that very much a priority for us to just trying to get in the kids' heart before they ever even reach the age of teenage years.
And many of the parents we spoke to agree that a Bible-based kids program is something Oshawa needs.
You look around on the streets and you see the kids out there on the weekend, and then you can bring them to a place like this. It's just amazing. It's a great place for my daughters to bring their friends too.
It's absolutely amazing, and you'll see even a transformation in your kids' behavior, and there's so many life lessons learned here, and it's just an amazing outlet for the kids to even experience God if they've never had an opportunity to even learn that at home.
With an estimated population of 150,000, the city of Oshawa is largely based on manufacturing. But with the recent economic downturn and layoffs at the GM plant, now, more than ever, says Satius, people are searching for something to believe in. And the church is trying to meet that need.
We're educating our people, bringing messages of faith. That in times of this, we needed to remember that we are serving a faithful God. Other practical ways, we have a financial a class that meets on Wednesday nights here, trying to educate people how to budget. We do a food drive, going in the streets, and we're not going to have a service on Sunday morning. It's very exciting, very awesome. Rather than to come to church, we are going to be the church, and we're going to come and worship God here for half an hour. Then we are going to go on the side of the street and collect food for the people in the city.
And his desire to help people going through hard times hits close to home. That's because when Seixas arrived from Brazil in the 1980s, he had nothing.
I had a little bit of a problem in immigration. Because I didn't have a proper visa to come. As a matter of fact, at that time, I didn't need a visa to come to. Brazilians did not need a visa. There was a bunch of people that came and wanted to go to the United States. Long story. Anyways, I ended up going to immigration, and they held my passport and my money, and so I stayed here for 3 or 4 months without it. So I was in need. I didn't have food. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't speak English. It was a mess.
But during those hard times, he says, his faith got him through.
I was sitting at Square One in Mississauga, and I was looking at people around, and they were eating, and I was hungry. I didn't have anything. What am I going to do? I said, Lord, I just want a Coke and a hamburger and a French fries. And that's what I prayed. And a couple seconds or a minute passed by. A guy came, very well-dressed man, and brought a brown bag and put in front of me. I was afraid to move from that. I thought, what about if drugs or something, it's like crazy. So I opened the bag, and it was there, Coke, a sandwich, a hamburger, and a French fries. It was just a great miracle that happened, and God takes care of our needs and even the most silly things that we can pray.
And what God did for him in a food court, he'd like to do for his city.
It dawned on me several years ago that I felt the Lord speaking to me. He said, Frank, if you disappear, if this church shut the doors, who'd miss? We want to be a blessing and a help to our community. We believe in our community. We believe in our city. We believe that God has great things to do here, and we want to be a part of it.
Anything that we want to pray for.
And through City Kids, Seixas intends to take part and hopes to make an impact on the next generation in the city of Oshawa.
It's a very cool, relevant, awesome place. But if we don't have the presence of God, then all we have is a cool place. We don't want that. We really, really want the kids to invite their friends to come and, for them to be here and experiencing all this. This is not my church. This is not our City Kids. It's God's. And I want God to be remembered as something big and great that He did, and He just used a weird, crazy Brazilian like me.
To find out more about City Kids, visit crossroads.ca and click on guest information. In Oshawa, Ontario, I'm Bridget Antwi for 100 Huntley Street.